what if I don't become famous posthumously? Maybe my story's no good. If I can take one possession, it'll have to be my duvet. When oblivion comes calling, it'll be so cold. You're gonna die, you're gonna die, you're gonna die alone. You're gonna die, you're gonna die, you're gonna die alone. Alone. All alone. What's the strangest rumour you've ever heard about yourself? There's probably been lots, but the one that springs to mind is after my first ever tour with Arrow Strap.
Mm-hmm.
I got home and all my friends were acting funny, and it turned out one of them had said I was a heroin addict, and this got all around my town where I live, and I've never tried heroin, but everyone was kind of giving me this really, he's a junkie, but I wasn't, and that was quite bizarre because I'd never even.
But they believed it instantly.
Yeah.
Wasn't that strange?
Well, it's maybe not so strange. I mean, I would never do that, but they thought because I was in a band and I was on tour that I'd be. This sounds far worse than it is, but no, it was bizarre because I had to go around and tell everyone that I'm not a junkie, honestly.
So it was the rock and roll cliche they thought was true. Is this because they don't know any other people in bands?
Yeah, I mean it's a small town I come from, and we all had great expectations that we were going to live up and live the stereotype. So it's expected.
Yeah, and were you ever tempted to live the stereotype?
Yeah, I mean I think we've lived it quite a lot, but just not heroin. So
so all the rest.
And more, yeah, all the rest, yeah.
All the rest and more.
Spinal Tap.
Really?
Yeah.
So was it fun?
It was good for 5 years. Then you have to grow up and become an adult and have responsibilities. How do you look back on your childhood? Fondly. I had a really good childhood.
So you were born in Scotland?
I was born in Scotland.
In a small town you lived on later on?
Pretty much. I moved a few times when I was young, but then I settled down in a place called Falkirk. And
what did your parents do?
my mum, well, when she got a job, she's an administrative assistant for the council.
Yeah.
And my dad worked in prisons. And
so was he inside? Was he a convict, or did he really work there?
I'd rather not say.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, he worked there. No, but I was saying about this other week about I do have really good memories, but I don't think about them often enough that they're going to fade away someday, so I need to think about them stronger and just like being a kid and not having a care and playing with friends. And I've got really good memories of it when I sit down and concentrate on them.
Yeah. So were there any brothers or sisters?
Yeah, I've got an older sister who's 2 years older.
Yeah. So it was a carefree childhood.
Yes.
Yeah?
Childhood, yes.
Later on it got harder.
I think it always gets harder when you become like.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people remember that moment when they're like 10 or 11 and they realise that you're not going to be a child forever, and you become conscious, and I think from then on it went downhill.
So what did you want to become when you were like 10, 11? Do you still remember?
So that's the thing, I don't have any recollection of ever wanting to be anything.
No?
No, because I really just, even now I find it hard thinking about the future. I can't imagine a future. So I always, like when I think back and think I must have wanted to be something. I mean, I didn't even want to be a spaceman or anything. But,
and no ambition to become a musician? No.
It was later on when I was like 15, I started playing guitar and I wanted to be in Guns N' Roses or Iron Maiden. And it was such a dream, it wasn't a real ambition. I thought I'm going to do this, it was a daydream. But that daydream was responsible for me stopping to care about school and to enjoy more about my social life and going out with friends, and it's pure luck that then when I was 21 I got my first record deal and stuff. I mean, to me, thinking back, it was hard because I mean there was years I was doing like, I was unemployed, or I was doing waiting jobs, or working in a supermarket, and all my free time was just spent, I mean, went through periods of having lots of friends, or periods of having no friends and spending so much time on my own that I would just play guitar all the time or moan about like a teenager. So I've been really lucky. What has been the lowest period in your life, and how did you get over it? There's been so many.
Yeah.
I'm joking.
Well, when you listen to your music, there seem to be quite a lot.
I think it's probably around about 5 or 6 years ago. 6 years ago. And I'd been in Arrow Strap for 5 years, and it was taking up pretty much all of my time. I had a heavy touring schedule, and just being on tour, drinking too much, not being healthy, and not sleeping enough, and just being tired all the time. I ended up with pancreatitis, and basically on tour in France, I had to like basically leave the bus and check myself in the hospital, and it was the worst. That was the worst few days of my life, because I basically ended up in a drip, in a strange hospital in France with an old man next to me who was dying, and his family kept coming in to see him, and I was just on my own with no one
to see you.
Yeah, because the band had to go back, and that was quite frightening, because it was. I'm not sure how serious it was, but I mean the doctor said I could have died and stuff. So I don't think I could have died, but it made me think.
At that moment, you maybe thought you could die.
I wasn't sure.
No.
But it was frightening enough anyway to make me think that I'm not a young man anymore, and it's kind of this important things. So that kind of had a lasting effect, because I was on morphine while I was there.
Which is great.
It was amazing. And when I came home, I had some kind of tablet for him, and coming off that, I became depressed and stuff, and I was just kind of in a few months where I wrote my first album, solo album basically, and kind of, but a lot of like relationships came to an end and stuff, and I don't know.
Yeah. So did writing the album after this experience, did it help you to feel better?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I was such in a pathetic state that writing albums. Because I wrote the album, I wrote the songs seriously, and looking back, like after writing them, I laughed at them, because how can someone write that? But I found it so funny that I'd written that I thought that's a good song.
So what do you think when you heard your own songs back? What do you think about yourself? Could you listen to it like it was someone else?
The first album sounds like someone else now.
Yeah. So what sort of person is that?
To me, it's an immature person, someone that couldn't look after himself properly and didn't think about the future. Yeah, it's quite a sad person. Does it still matter to you what your parents think about what you do? Does it still matter?
Yeah, or did it ever matter?
Of course it matters.
Yeah.
It's doing what I do. It's of course this is aimed at people, musicians, I imagine. But it's always hard. I mean, I remember. I mean, I've been doing this professionally for like 11 years. It's maybe in the last couple of years. No, that's maybe unfair. But like my grandmother, she won't think I'm doing anything until I've been in Top of the Pops or something, because to her that's what being a musician is. I know that's been unfair, sorry, Gran, but it's hard. It's sometimes hard getting taken seriously, because I mean, if there's no gauge of success or achievement really that I can show people.
Well, you can live off your music, can't you?
Yeah, I know, but even though I know that, it's always like when you're at family dinners and stuff, you still feel like it's like, oh, the musician in the corner. When are you going to get a real job? So
when are you going to get serious?
Yeah, exactly. When are you going to grow up? But no, I mean, of course I care what people think, my family, and but I think now it's more like maybe they're taking it a bit more seriously. They know I can do it outside of a band and stuff, so yeah.
So do you feel they're proud in any way? Or are they worried still?
I think they're proud, yeah.
Yeah.
I think I've basically been living on my own for long enough to make them realise that they can be proud.
And have they ever told you they really loved the song you made?
My mum said my second album, Into the Woods, was almost as good as Belle and Sebastian's one. So that was quite a compliment.
Yeah.
But she didn't like Arab Strap because of the swearing. But yeah. That's a hard thing as well, if you've made a record and there's swear words on it and you give it to your grandmother and then you never hear from her again for a few months or something.
Did this really happen?
No,
Did you warn her beforehand?
I always, well, I don't have to warn her.
No,
Everyone knows.
Yeah,
But, it's annoying as well because I've got two young nieces and a nephew. And my last album, which I'd claimed was pop music for children but with adult lyrics, they couldn't listen to. But the new album's only got one song with swear words on it, and so I think they've got an edited version. And I saw them a few weeks ago, and like one's 5, one's 3, the girls, and the boys 1, and they were both singing "We're All Gonna Die," so that was an achievement, I thought. And my sister was phoning me saying, "You can't have them singing songs like this," but they just couldn't help it. So it's when they go into school and start singing "Fuck It, I Love You" that we have to have problems. But I don't think they've heard that song yet. So.
No.
What do you regret most? I can't really regret anything. I mean, what I was going to say is that it's like if I knew what I knew now back then, it'd be so much easier. Like when I was at high school and stuff, that you can, if I'd had a bit more sense, I could have really planned my journey and my future and thought, this is what I want to do in this. But saying that, if I'd had those wits about me to do that, I wouldn't be doing this now. And I think even if I'm not content, I'm happy with what I've achieved some days. So, but I do regret like not taking education more seriously. Yeah. Seriously, yeah. Like I went back to night classes a few years ago. 2 years ago, just because I was between. I think I was recording at the time, so I had evenings off. Yeah. And I wasn't going to be on tour, so I did a German night class and Egyptology. Just not for a long-term career, because I knew neither would get me anywhere. Yeah. But it was just to see if I could, because it'd been like 10 years since I've been in school. Yeah. So I just wanted to make sure I still had, I read a lot, but I wanted to make sure I had the capacity to learn still.
Yeah, but it's harder when you're older, isn't it?
It's really hard. Yeah. But I mean, both classes there's maybe one other guy my age. Yeah. And the rest was like old women who had basically nothing to do at weeknights. Yeah. So it was a bit strange, like being on tour with Arab Strap. The next thing I was in a class
with all these old women.
Yeah, and I think over 6 months I maybe put my hand up once to answer a question. I was just so embarrassed, and if I put my hand up, I go bright red. So I can go on stage, but if I go in class and put my hand up and speak, I'm sweating and embarrassed.
Now they've gone and left us, and we are not here. Just the ghosts of the people they once held dear. We're an army around the country, we're all stuck in our rooms. It takes a lot of desperation to make a move. Out the door, down the stairs, through the close, down the street, on the bus, to the pub, where the people meet. But we'd rather sit and stare, wonder what might happen there. If we could move our heads in time with a brighter beat.